Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the roads to dry up so we can get these cars back out on the road. Another good day telling us that they can't close these markets below the T-line. The only real scary part of today's trading was with the NASDAQ climbing up above 5,000, you had every talking head on the CNBC and Bloomberg saying we're going higher, which that's scary when everybody starts thinking in the right direction. So I bring this up to say that if we start seeing some exuberant buying coming into this market, get ready to take profits. Let's see, can somebody help Dale as far as sound? Yeah, that the market's going higher. Yeah, that's where you start letting the charts tell you what's going on. So, anyways, I've discovered in the past when everybody's enthusiasm starts coming back into the market, that's when you start watching out. All right, some of the influences. We can see crude oil has pretty well gone sideways for the last month. Ever since it hit the $50 range, they can't get it to move back up. The dollar, let's see, which dollar are we working on? The dollar keeps its steady uptrend. Notice a little slow curve. I would suspect it's still climbing. The 10-year notes still coming down. Let's make these a little bit bigger. No sound. I don't know what the somebody must be getting sound. All right, yeah. Somebody type in, if no sound, reboot. Or turn up your desk speaker. All right, the 10-year notes looks like a bearish J-hook pattern in progress, heading down into this level. I'm trying to think of what else. Been short coffee, which has been working out nicely. Let's make this fatter. This is why trading commodities is fairly easy, that the trends, once the trends start, they stay in progress for a while. And cotton, been long cotton, it's pulled back indecisively. I'm looking for a positive open to come right back up to the 200 here in the next on the next move. Oh, let's see, what else? Oh, gold. Gold is just having a hard time getting any move to the upside. Would still suspect more downside in gold. Retro. That's not what we want to do. Dang, Jiminy Christmas, I did the same thing. These speedy fingers. Silver, as you can see, is still caught in this downward trend channel. I'd stay short on silver. Oh, the World Cup, they had set up some parameters. We just tweaked them. I guess the count was up 30% during the first month. Now it's back to even. So we've tweaked some things where they had some loosey-goosey elements as far as stop losses. So we've changed that. Those of us with IRAs can't short, but you can buy short funds. Those are always the best things to put in an IRA if you want to be on the downside. And lean hogs opened up positive today, but backed off a little bit. As you can see, they're closed above the T-line. I'd still look for some more positive trading on this, telling us after they've broken this downward trend channel, they've come back to see if that trend channel is now going to act as support. And live cattle, just continuing on its move toward the 50-day moving average. This is why watching the signals and then gapping up, that's pretty much telling you what's happening at those levels. All right, we got a bunch of charts to look at, and what I want to concentrate on is what happens after big price moves and what makes some of those big price moves. So let me go through some of the ones that we're in. First of all, ISIS, I guess, got downgraded today. For some reason, these charts get smaller. But has came right back up again. I would still be buying ISIS on positive trading tomorrow because this is your typical. Notice the big Morningstar signal, then your doji sandwich, your uptrend, your pullback right smack dab to the 50. Once a resistance level is breached, they'll come back and test it as support. If this opens positive, they're going to go right back up into the trading range and continue that uptrend. Now, CYBR also had the prospects of a good trade, but it should have been probably closed out today because after the doji right here on the T-line, they should have taken it back positive. At this point, there's still pullback in progress. You should have closed it out today and then be ready to buy it back on the next buy signal. And ADHD is an example of kind of your risk-reward factor based upon, notice what it's doing. It's moving sideways. Today it closed down here right on the T-line. Did that warrant selling or closing out the position? In this case, you've got two things going against you. First of all, you've got a huge shooting star left-right combo closing right on the T-line. Stochastics heading down, and you're not going up. So we close this out today on the premise that this is a big sell signal. Even though it closed right here, still on a positive basis, the risk-reward factor was getting bad as far as this being anybody, or this being a good trade to be in. If you can look at a chart and not know which way it's going, and you're starting to see some sell signals in there, close it out. There's 8,700 trading entities out there that we can scan in a matter of less than 10 minutes each afternoon to come up with the best trades each day. So this one was closed out, even though it didn't close below the T-line. You can see that there was no reason to be staying in this at this point. So this kind of is your caveat to it not closing below the T-line yet, but everything else indicates that this is not any reason to stay in this one. Yeah, the CYBR is because of the pending offer. So I don't put a whole lot of weight into that. But I do put enough weight into the charts to say, all right, I'm suspecting that they'll turn this around, but I don't know whether they'll turn it around from here or here. So close out the position and be ready to buy this on the next buy signal. The reason I'm willing to take, I think we bought right in here, take that percentage loss is because if this does turn around and it does finish this J-hook pattern, that this moved from 35 to 70, another 35 points would take you up into almost the $100 range. I'd rather give up 4 or 5 points when it's not working and get back in when it is working. Oh, what happened here? Well, that's a fine howdy-do. Everything just went black. How? I don't know what I hit, but apparently it wasn't the right thing. All right. And SEMP. We've been in SEMP for a while, ever since it started coming out of this little fry pan bottom area. It did a sell signal today, but here's a case where you're still well above the T line, not only the T line, but the 3T line. Give it another day, because what's this telling us? We are in a trend. I'd rather give this more opportunity. We recommended VIMC. There's that rounding bottom. There's that kind of trend kicker signal. And a breakout today through this level. We should have some more upside in this one. Again, this is just based upon the chart patterns telling us which ones to be in and which ones to be out. ADXS, ever since the buy signal, we had that down day, but today it needed to open positive and trade positive, which it did. This one is still a buy if it opens positive tomorrow, because it's telling us that this trend trajectory is still in progress. Red Hat, one that we've been kind of talking about over in the options room, still has this little wedge formation, hasn't closed below the T line, makes it a perfect buy if it opens positive and starts trading up above this resistance level. Let's see, we did or did we do? Yes, we did that one. And also, Kohl's, this is why the patterns are very important to learn. And what we've been discovering is there still seems to be a lot of, let's say, a lot of clarification needed as far as learning these patterns. So here's a J-hook pattern on Kohl's, which means this wave right here and this wave right here should be about the same. So I would expect, oh, I hate these little things, another 3 or 4 points to the upside to get to the same magnitude, which makes, notice the little doji sandwich that broke this out. What do we expect after a doji sandwich? More upside. What do we expect from a fry pan or a J-hook pattern breakout? More upside. So the more elements that we can put into our analysis, that this is, again, a pattern, and not a pattern, not an uptrend, but a pattern that's going to tell us that even though the market's in a slow, steady uptrend, the patterns are usually going to give you a much higher rate of return. Let's see. Is that KSS? No, that's KSS. The S, that's an S dot in there, indicating. So this one's KSS, Kohl's. And Ecom hasn't gotten really started yet, but you can see we got this big basing action. If this does break out, it's got a lot of upside potential. So hang on to this, just don't let it close below the T line. And what else we got here? Oh, SRNE, nice steady eddy right now, coming out of this slow curve. As long as it stays above the T line, you stay long. All right, now I'm going to skip over to a couple topics. One, a lot of people are asking, what do you do on big price moves? And remember, in Japanese candlestick analysis, a big price move means there's been a definite change of investor sentiment, as we saw in OMER today, kind of a kicker signal breakout. And that's what we're kind of looking for, is that change of investor sentiment. Because once it breaks out, usually it's going to have some follow through. This is AAOI. Oops, went the wrong direction here. So when you see that, there's his best friend, the doji gap up. And so this is a very simple process that I use. And if I've got a huge gain in something and it opens lower the next day, starts trading down, I close it out, and then put my buy stop right back up here where it closed. What I want to see is, when is the profit taking over? So even if I didn't get back in on this day, I got back in on this day knowing that the price was moving in the right direction. Mashi shall get all the investor at the end when I tell Jim to do the double line. Then you put in your stock request, and we'll do them then. Let's see, what was that? where are we? Over here. And that's one of the major patterns is that 45 degree. And very simple. When you see that 45 degree, you just stay long as it stays above the T line. That's ISLE. And BNFT was one that we started looking at down here. Notice they had profit-taking day. The profit-taking is over. That tells us start looking for a 45 degree to come off of here. Again, this is the message right here. That big, huge move to the upside is a major change of investor sentiment. Still hit the wrong. BSFT. When we see a doji, what's our simple rule of a doji? It's going to move in the direction how they open it after a doji. So on a day like this, you may not buy, but if they open up positive the next day, that tells you any profit taking that was occurring on this day is over, that the message right here is still in progress. These are the times that you can be buying. So this is just kind of fine-tuning what to be looking for once you see a big price move. Just look for that 45 degree to start coming off of there. And that makes for not only good stock trades, but a fairly reliable option trade setup. TSEM, big price move, 45 degree. Now notice that it's staying above the T line, and it's also staying above the 3T line. So that makes it very simple that if you're starting to get that far away from the T line, just watch the 3T line. If you see a sell signal to close back below the 3T line, you take your profits, because more than likely then it's going to come back to your back to the T line. Then you can always look to buy back in at that level. TSM, UVI, Rutrow. How come I can't read my own handwriting? That's just a fine howdy do. UVE, big price move. That's your best friend. Look for a 45 degree to come off of here. So these are kind of consistent, high probability trades. When you start seeing big price moves, look for the 45 degree to come off of this. That's not the right place. Right here, the kicker signal, big break or a big move, 45 degree. Same thing that we saw not too long ago in Amazon. When Amazon had that big price move, notice how you could stay in it as long as it doesn't close below the T line. Same scenario with Netflix. Big price move, you stay long as it stays above the T line. Very easy, high probability buying right here, either stock or options. So do you look to take your profits if it comes back below the 3T line with a signal on the daily or on a lower time frame chart? If it's sitting right on the 3T line and you've moved a little bit away from the T line, I forget which one we were looking at. If that did a sell signal and close back below the T line or the 3T line, I'd take profits because I'd suspect it's coming back down to the T line. Now, if it moves away from the T line and the 3T line, then you flip down to your 10-minute chart, say, all right, we're way up here in the overstretched area. Let's start looking for sell signals. All right, a couple other ones. The belt hold. Belt hold is where they gap it down, well down below the trading range, and bring it back up into the trading range. Now, it could come back up as a piercing signal or a bullish engulfing signal. Or if it closed right here, doing no signal, it's still a belt hold. Yeah, I'll keep looking for examples. On ADXS, why didn't it close more than halfway down. Rule with stochastics turning over, apply. Because we hadn't gotten into the overbought condition, and we were still trading up above the T-line. So until we saw something that confirmed the sell signal, I mean, that was a sell signal on that day, almost. More of a piercing signal. But we did have a caveat yesterday when we were Friday, or whatever, what is today? Monday. But this needed to open. If it opened lower, you closed it out and just waited to see what it did at the T-line. And to stay in it, it had to open positive and stay positive today, which it did. So there's that belt hold. And the belt hold is a very indicative signal in that they've wiped out a lot of sellers in here. Now there's no sellers in front of them anymore. Move up pretty quick. Yeah, if you hang on to your individual stock questions, we'll get to them. When I tell Jim to do the double line, then you type in your individual stock requests, and we want to try to limit it to 2 a person. Where am I now? We were doing, these. RPTP. Belt hold and RPTP makes this very simple. That if they start open this positive again tomorrow, you want to be buying because that, again, tells you they've wiped out a lot of the sellers. They're out of the way. On WBAI, what are you looking for as far as an entry? Just a positive open. If it opens here, close, then I'm buying it because that tells me the bulls are still there. I'm just going to buy on strength, or I'd be buying on strength. What's your first resistance level? The T-line. You just see what it does here at the T-line. But remember, we're seeing a buy signal, and especially strong buy signal, because it's not only a bullish engulfing signal, but it's also a belt hold, which was significant, visually significant, to see that it traded well out of the trading range and came back up with stochastics in the oversold area. That's all the criteria for looking for a reversal. Positive trading tomorrow, you could be buying. You just watch to see what it does at the T-line. If it fails at the T-line, you hopefully come out with a profit or at least a break even, and then wait for the next buy signal. But if it failed at the T-line, that's basically what it's telling you. Failed at the T-line. And JKS, that's a big belt hold bullish engulfing signal. That tells you they've wiped out sellers. Notice how the buyers and sellers have been fighting in here for the last couple of weeks. Now they've wiped them out. That tells me I'm probably now in my next wave to the upside. Is belt hold same as exhaustion gap? Yes, you can have a bearish belt hold, which opens way up above the trading range and comes back down into the trading range. I'm trying to think of which one that was. I can't think of it right now. Yeah, that's also, well, in some cases, as you can see, it's not at the end of a bearish run. JKS had earnings today. All right, so the initial reaction was it wasn't good, and then they changed their mind. So this is another advantage to Candlesticks 2, is to seeing what they've actually done based upon some sort of announcement. Tons of times we'll see a good earnings report and they start selling it off, and other times we see a terrible earnings report and they start buying. OPK, I guess, had a downgrade today, but it's done kind of a belt hold hammer type signal, which tells us very simply, if they open this positive tomorrow, you can still hold this or continue to buy. If they open it lower, that tells you they failed here. You close it out immediately. Yep, they had earnings today. Oh, that was what they did. Earnings, which apparently wasn't so terrible, and you can tell Very easy. Even though this stock was down 12 cents on the day, there was buyers after it opened. And that's important information. Okay, now the other one that has been working well right now is the fry pan bottom. Oops, not big enough. SERV is one that we've been kind of discussing over in the options room. Coming out of this fry pan bottom, there's the results. When do you get ready to sell? Notice what's happened. You started seeing the enthusiasm come in at the top. At this point, notice not only are we a good distance away from the T-line, but we're now well up above the 3T line. Tomorrow, we'll be watching for profit taking. If they open this higher and take it up even further, now you start flipping to your 10 minutes charts. It was half the earnings they estimated OPK. All right. Well, apparently somebody wasn't dissatisfied with those earnings. So this is what we're expecting coming out of a fry pan bottom is a big price move. Lulu was recommended today, even though strength, because it didn't break the trajectory today and it didn't close below the T line. What would you do if you can't watch the 10-minute chart? Oh, then you put a stop at some place that tells you it shouldn't move to. If you're not sitting at the computers, you're working or something. What one did we just look at? Serve. You pick out a spot and say, all right, where would I not want to see the trading play point of this candle? That if they were able to bring it this far away from the T line and the 3T line, if they started selling it back to the halfway point of this candle, that's where you put your stop. And let's see. What have I done here? JKS, OTK. All right, we're down here on the fry pan bottom. CRMD. This is what we're looking for coming out of this. Is more of our fry pan bottom slow curve. This is what we're looking for coming out of those patterns. ZAG, for example. That's okay. Ride the curve, I'll do that. Notice the fry pan bottom here with the breakout. What was the breakout? Doji gap up, breaking out through this level. This is the type of thing that we're looking for. This is why when I buy options over here, somebody says, well, don't you look at the delta? The delta has nothing to do with this price move compared to this price move. This is what we're looking for. It's the change of investor sentiment. Oh, yeah, okay, that's true, yes. Use that halfway point of the candle of, I do, but sold ADX of that rule. All right, but ADX, you got to remember, you weren't that far away from the T-line. You're still in kind of an uptrend. So, Lori, the other side of that coin is, if you sell something when it looks like it's time to sell, and then it doesn't confirm, don't be afraid to buy back in. There's been many times that I've sold something here and bought back here because it was still in the pattern. All that meant is if this was a 10-point move and I only got 8 points of it, at least I got 8 points where I knew that the probabilities were in my favor. I have no qualms anymore. I used to not buy back because I thought, man, they scared me out of this. I'm not going to get back in. They're not going to trick me a second time. Well, now at least I can say, all right, came out when it looked like it was time to come out, but it didn't confirm, get right back in again. I would rather make most of the profits of a uptrend than worrying about getting every single dollar of an uptrend. Cuba, nice big fry pan bottom, and notice what broke out on the other side here. Start gapping it up. That probably has a lot more upside. And this is where, if they start opening this positive, now use the 3T line as your stop, because because if they come back down through there, they're probably coming back to test the T-line. Blocks, another fry pan bottom breakout. When was it time to buy? Well, they took profits. Today they did a bullish harami telling you the selling had stopped. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one. A lot of people say, shoot, I don't want to buy a stock that's already up 20%. You do if it's coming out of the pattern, because that tells you there's going to be more upside. RTEC, setting up. Nice fry pan bottom setup. If it breaks out through this level, look for this type of price movement. PETX, I think David L. pointed this one out. Fry pan bottom. Notice how this one started. There's your left-right, or your doji sandwich. Kind of another little doji sandwich right here at the breakout level, telling us there's going to be more upside. Marty asked that again when we do the double line. Oh, Marty, I was supposed to call you. I will call you. Let's see, what did I do? With PETX, Dougley. Big fry pan bottom. Notice what it's done. Kind of the T-line crunch up through your 50-day moving average. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading. Don't all stocks that have 50, 60, 70, or 100% always have a 20% at some point? Oh, yeah, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to buy a stock that's already up 20%. You do if it's going to go up another 80%. All right, what's... Oh, yeah, if you could kind of draw this channel, at least here's your first target up here in this range. That was on which one? PETX. Cypress. Kind of a fry pan bottom, but notice where it closed. I hate that thing up there. Right here at the resistance level. If this one breaks out, got the potential of this type of move. And I know they were throwing these around in the chat room today. Whoops. Code. Right up here with a little fry pan bottom at the breakout level. And CLDN. Fry pan bottom, J-hook. I'd be buying this one on strength with the anticipation that at least they're going to come back up and test this level. You provide scans for these patterns? Yes. And if anybody has problems with finding scans, just Ed C., who's in the room every day, is excellent at writing the formulas for any scans that you want. But he's got most of them already formatted for the patterns as well as the signals. There's that little fry pan bottom, slow curve. This is what we expect coming out the other side. Notice the T-line crunch, pushing that up through the resistance level. So once you have your fry pan bottom, big fry pan bottom, there's your J-hook pattern. That's on Depot. Another little fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. And that's what we call the classic, which is if we know that coming out of a fry pan bottom, we have a strong price move, then we know on a strong price move we usually get a J-hook pattern, which has a prerequisite of a strong price move. Fry pan bottom and the J-hook, depends on how big it doesn't really matter what you call them. This could be a fry pan bottom. It could be also a J-hook pattern. It's not what you call the pattern. It's being able to recognize that after a strong price move, this little type of action right here is getting ready for the next price move. Do you have pattern scan for TradeStations or Thinkorswim? Yes, for both. That's what our big promotion has been this past couple of weeks. Is we're doing two things. One, we're going backwards. That's why I'm kind of going back into some of the signals and patterns that, even though the charts look great and I explain what they are, people don't always understand what this pattern is. So we're going back into the left-right combos, the best friends, the J-hooks, the fry pan bottoms, and doing many videos on each one of them. We also have the full packages, the 12 major signals, as well as the advanced patterns, which are the 6 or 8 candlestick patterns, the fry pan bottom, J-hook, cradle, scoop pattern, belt hold, and the I'll think of it. But again, the reason that you want to, did I say the best friend? All right. Yes. We didn't do it on the best friend. We did it on the left-right combo. And there's your fry pan bottom classic breakout and J-hook pattern. Where's this upside potential? Same as this move right here. So that tells us we could be up another 3 points from here. All right. Well, I've gone not too bad. A little bit over time. Oh, somebody was asking what was a T-line crunch. T-line crunch is when you can see that they're pushing up toward a resistance level. Let's make these bigger. And they can't close below the T-line. When they get ready to push through, get ready to buy, because everybody and their brother is going to be watching this area, and we can see that the T-line is holding, that even if you bought down here, you hold, or if you're ready to buy even on a day trade, get ready to buy if you can see it immediately start going through that resistance level, because the T-line crunch told you they were pushing through that area. Let's see, the videos are, if you're having problems finding the videos, just email Abraham at candlestickforum.com. He'll get the link to you on them. An INWK, another T-line crunch. Notice the little teeny bobble here where they took it back down, but they supported right on the T-line. I'd be a buyer of this one with the anticipation that this is a little J-hook pattern. If this is wave one, obviously the next move is up here to the 200-day moving average. I think I got them all. Oh, no, I missed okay, some of the, all right, let's go back to the general. I know this will be extending things a little bit, but here are some good-looking charts to be watching. NRX, that's done the little pullback to the T-line, and the 50. I'd be ready to buy this. Where's your upside potential? That's probably the target that everybody's watching, is back up here at the 1750 level, giving you a good rate of return. That's a good-looking chart. AMBA has come back around ever since the little cradle-type pattern down here, and it broke through this downtrending channel. I would suspect your next target is up at the top of this trend channel, up and around the $69 range. And this one is a very good-looking chart. PTLA came out of here. J-hook starting with a doji gap up. You expect to move basically the same magnitude as this move. This was 10 points, easily taking you up into the $50 area. Oh, Amber reports tomorrow? All right. Let's see. On WKS, right now, I would think more, this is what you should be looking for, is that this wave right here would take you up to the top of this trend channel. DVAX. Little stutter step. This is your simple moving average analysis. When they break through a moving average that could be acting as resistance, they'll come back and test it, see if it's going to act as support. Now you've got your J-hook pattern. And how did this J-hook pattern start? A little kicker type signal on the breakout. All right, what's the volume on NRX? Yeah, it's a little bit light. It was only about 209,000 a day on an $8 stock. That's light, but not terrible. Let's see. Sigmo. Wave 1, wave 2. Notice all the tails kept bouncing back up above the T-line. That's a J-hook pattern in progress. You probably want to be watching that very closely tomorrow on Positive Trading. Positive Trading, after the little kicker type signal, get rid of that. Breaking out through this level, tell me that if this was wave 1, which is 4 points, this should take me up into about the $21 area. Let's see, IPHI. Notice where this bounced. Bullish engulfing, smack dab off the 50, smack dab off the 50. First target right here, and if it breaks out through there, look for it to go to the top of the trend channel, meaning it could take you up into the 2350 range. Rent. Rent has come back up through with kind of a doji sandwich. First target here, second target here, third target, fill in the gap. Oh, PTLA is already gone. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to see over here if it's showing. Nah, can't see. All right. How no shorts tonight? Because I think we're still in an uptrend. Okay, last was at 42.10. All right. That was going to be my perfect option trade for tomorrow, but now it's gone. CTRE, big morning star signal right off the 50. If it opens positive, breaking this downward trend channel, this one's got the same magnitude possibility of this wave right here, taking you well up into this gap area. Means if they really got it running, they could come up here and fill this gap. Do you buy out of the money options, buy before, after earnings? Oh, depends. Usually if I do that SK, it's usually on some of the biggies like Netflix or Amazon, that type of thing. Something that you know everybody's watching. Try to... Mac, perfect J-hook pattern setup. This one you could be buying on Positive Trading tomorrow. That's a good looking chart. Let's see, did we do the World Wrestling? Yes. Notice the strength of this move. Now you've got a J-hook pattern, and notice where the bullish engulfing signal occurred. right smack dab off the T line. Where did you close? Right up here at the resistance level. If it opens positive, you want to be buying this one. Because if this is wave one, which looks like it'd be about 7 points, look for this to go into the $24, $25 area. An ACHC. Nice big fry pan bottom base in here. And doji sandwich breakout. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow with the anticipation. Let's make this a little bit smaller. But if they've moved up 8 points here, this should take you up in about the $73, $74 area. And this one's a good looking chart. 8. Did your best friend signal? Doji gap up. You're right here at this resistance level. If it opens positive, your first target is the 50-day moving average. But anytime you see a doji followed by a gap up, especially up through the T line, notice where it quit today, right here on the 200. If they open up positive, I'm telling you the 200 and the 20 is not acting as resistance anymore. This downtrending channel isn't acting as resistance anymore. Your stochastics are curling up. That gives you all the indications that they're popping this one. Look for the 50-day moving average. And form was an example of that. When you start seeing gap ups through the resistance levels, look for these type of price moves. This is where, notice a strong morning star signal right off the 50-day or the 200-day moving average. Then you had a little kicker type gap up or doji gap up through the 50. That started the strength. This is what you kind of look for, is what type of strength is that next trend starting with. Yeah, the 8, that's your first target. Now, is that target worthwhile? Well, that's about a, is that a 10%, at least a 10% return? Then you could have more upside after that. All right, one more, CSTM. Oh, was that one? Little double bottom, slow curve, left-right combo, right at the resistance level. If it breaks out from here, it's going to the 200. So anyways, with this market consistently moving up, the patterns are what you want to keep an eye on because they're going to produce a heck of a lot more profit or profit potential than just an uptrending stock during an uptrend. So with that, is there any general questions on candlesticks? Oh, on SEMP, first of all, your analysis has to be, where are we in this trend? We can see you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 started coming out of this slow curve. We closed right here on the T line, on the 3T line. If this opened lower tomorrow, I'd probably take profits. If I was a little less active, I wouldn't close it until it did close below the T line. A cradle pattern is, trying to think of a cradle pattern. That wasn't quite a cradle pattern. A cradle pattern is when you have a big down day at the bottom of a trend. Then you have, if you have one indecisive day and a positive day, that's a morning star. 2, I still consider it a morning star. If you have 3 or more indecisive trading days, then another big candle, that's a cradle pattern. And I'll try to let's see, was that it? All right. Yes, that's kind of your cradle pattern where you're in a downtrend, big down day, you had 3 indecisive trading days, and then a big day to the upside. So this is the warning right here. Anytime you start seeing a series of dojis that are trading flat, look for this big move to the upside. That becomes your cradle. Scenario is you've got a cradle kind of hanging down in between two trends, so you expect this to be the next uptrend. On OKP, probably OPK, why is a hammer in the overbought condition that relevant? Isn't it less relevant? Yes, it's less relevant, not the sense that it's a hammer-type signal, but the fact that they open it and brought it back up. So it has to now be the evaluation is what has your total trend been on this move? It's been staying above the T-line. Today we had a gap down, and where did it close? Right back at about the T-line. So you don't really call it a hammer signal, but it's a hammer-type signal. But it's indicating that if they open this positive tomorrow, what's that telling us about the T-line? That they don't want to close it below the T-line, that the uptrend is still in the uptrend. Lumber liquidators, you stay short. Again, there was that big gap down. Anytime you see a big price move, expect more to follow. No, not Achilles. No, just be more wary that when the enthusiasm starts coming into the market, that's when you start looking for the buy or the sell signals. So just the warning flags are you still watch for the uptrend to continue, but what are some of the things that would tell us that there might be a top? Well, if we see a couple of days where they take it up huge, that should be the exuberance coming in. You start looking for sell signals. So we're just using the fact that the talking heads, everybody's saying we're going higher as a warning, just to be a little bit more diligent. Is just profit taking? Yeah, I would give it another day. Notice what it did. It came right back down to the T-line, bounced up off of there. Give it another day. But if it closes below the T-line, then what can you assess from this? But this was just a pop, and they're back into the trading range. You want to be back out of it. It was mentioned by Ride the Curve about sell halfway down, example, Lulu. Well, now Lulu, we got to still remember, Lulu is in a fry pan bottom. And what do we know about a fry pan bottom? That's different than just a trend like this, where it closed more than halfway down. Start looking at that as a sell signal. This is doing a fry pan bottom. And very simply, if you see a pattern setting up, you just stay long as it doesn't close below the T-line. Hence the saying, sell into strength. Yes. So this is why we have the benefit of the Japanese rice traders knowing where most people buy exuberantly at the top, and we can see graphically when that exuberance starts coming in. So that's what you just want to be prepared for. How do you handle topping? Do you put in stops on all open positions? If I'm sitting here most of the day, no, I don't. But if I've got something that's really moved up nicely, and I know it's time to probably get ready to sell, I'll probably spend a little bit more time watching this one. And this would be a case where if this started moving up strong again, that far away from the 3T as well as the T-line, then I go to my 10-minute chart. Okay, I guess that's it. Jim, go ahead and do the double line. Now you type in your questions, individuals, and then 6.1 seconds, do the other double line. All right. Okay, let's get all the biggies out of the way. Apple looks like it's doing a J-hook pattern. Notice it's having a hard time getting too far away from the T-line. Amazon, you stay long on this as long as it stays above the T-line. Google, as long as Google's in a strong uptrend, that means the market's not going to go anywhere other than in that direction. And Tesla Tesla's been out of the picture here for a while. I'd still be short on Tesla because Tesla was great when crude oil prices were at $105. Right now there's not the enthusiasm for an electric type cars when crude oil is back at $50 a barrel. Xiop, all you can do here is stay long as it stays above the 3T line as well as the T line. And CVX, nothing here yet. I'd stay short because as we can see, the trend is in this direction. You just stay short until you see a buy signal. Now, I'd stay short, but I'd watch to see what happens back here at the support level. Procter & Gamble, this one I wouldn't be long or short because it has no direction, number one, and number two, it's even if it moves, the percentage return is so slow. I think so, yes, on the OPK, that probably, pshaw, that you've probably taken out a lot of sellers today. If it opens positive, that price move could still be fairly substantial to the upside. Now, on the other hand, if they open slower, it tells you the sellers are still winning. You close out the trade immediately. Goodyear, this one you can just stay long. That's got a good looking chart, especially if they can get it back up through this little downtrending channel, making your J-hook pattern in progress. MW point, I wouldn't want to see it come back down through today's low. If you have a doji and they came back through that level, that tells you exactly what's happening. Like they've started taking it back down. Then you watch to see what it does once it gets to the T line. MDVN, by MDVN. There's kind of your fry pan bottom. All you can do with this one is stay long until you see a sell signal. And F5, you stay long on this one. Notice that the T line, they can't get it below the T line. You just stay long as it stays above the T line. AGEN. Right now, if you're short, you stay short. If you're looking to buy, you don't buy until this one does close above the T line. Angie's List, same scenario. I wouldn't buy it, but I'd buy it on the next confirmed buy signal, telling you that you're kind of in the bobble where they got near the 200, came back to the T line. If they start bringing it back up on a slow curl, that's when you can start buying. But until you see some strength, you don't want to get into it. Here's UNXL. If it opens positive and starts trading positive, notice it came back and tested the 200 today and came back up. I'd be buying this one on any signs of strength tomorrow. Again, that big breakout with a kicker signal. There's another J-hook pattern in progress, TBT. That's the ultra short treasuries, all right. So the more the treasury notes go down, this is going to continue up. So that kind of is an indication that the interest rates are still going to go higher, which at these levels doesn't really mean all that much. PAL, this one might be a very, that's, you can be buying this one. I don't know what the volume is, but it better be huge volume on this one to get in and out. $29 stock, 29-cent stock, I'm sorry. SPIL needed to open positive today. This is why, even though you have a sell signal and it closes right on the T line, that you still wanted to watch this one, make sure it opened positive. Now, that's a little bit different than ADHD, which we decided to close out, because notice the trajectory on this one. It's this way. And now we have a sell signal, left-right combo, evening star signal, closing right on the T line. Stochastics heading down. If it had been moving like this, I'd have given it a little bit more leeway. But right now, there's nothing to tell us to stay in that one. KND, big breakout. Expect 45 degree off of here. Rite Aid. Rite Aid, if you closed it out on Friday, which you should have, you could buy it back on positive trading tomorrow because that would tell you you're still above the T-line and you broke this little downtrending channel. Facebook still, I wouldn't be too excited about this, but if you're long, you stay long as this one stays above the T-line. And SWHC, 45 degree after the big price move a couple days ago. Just stay long until you see a sell signal and a close back below the T-line. Price line, all you can do is stay long on this one. And Google L, same scenario as Google, just stay long as Google is moving up. The market is in good shape. NVDA. That one you want to be ready to buy on positive trading tomorrow. Notice the consolidation. This is a case where if I had closed out here, I'd be ready to buy again up here. Because at this point, we aren't going to get a good read. Now we know what the decision was after they hit the T-line. Pixelworks. You can start buying this one on positive trading tomorrow using the T-line as your stop. I've been holding puts on AGIO. Blue ice failure during all these dojis hugging the T-line. It looks like a slow curve. Would you hold or sell? At this point, you're kind of running out of steam. That was a good sell, but now obviously they're supporting here. So this does not now look like a good short in the sense that unless they open this down hard tomorrow, even if they did it sideways tomorrow, I'd probably close it out because now you don't have any trajectory to work off of. If they open up positive, I'd close it out immediately as far as a short sale. AKRX, kicker signal, big move. Look for the 45 degree to keep in the same trajectory as what it was doing prior to that consolidation. AVGO, same scenario, 45 degree, same trajectory. Nubo, I would suspect that if this doesn't open higher tomorrow, they're going to come back and test the T-line, which means you're setting up for a J-hook pattern. So if it opened lower, I'd close it out. Then I'd just watch to see what it does once it gets back to the T-line. AGNX. What did I just do? Why would I put an AZGNX? Just stay long. Nothing wrong here. At this point, you're up in the overbought area. Use today's low as your stop. It shouldn't come back down through that level. NXPI, bought out. Who's it's today? If you own this one, you stay long. And I would stay long as it doesn't come back down through the day's open. Look for, see if it does a 45 degree from here. DEC. Nothing here. Probably wouldn't be long or short. There's just no direction to it. Nothing to give you an advantage one way or the other. Tazar, stay short until you see a buy signal. I would stay short. At this point, if I was short, I'd use today's open as my stop. It shouldn't come back up through that level. And Jazz, another one that I probably wouldn't be long or short, just no direction to it. The VIX, stay short. GDX. This one, if it opens lower, you can short it. Now you have potential of a bearish J-hook pattern. BOLX, This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. The gap up, look for a 45 degree to come off of here. Marvell, this one you can stay long, just as long as it stays above the T line at this point. And CYCC, stay long on this one. At this point, I would probably use today's low. If it came back down through there, there's still more profit taking going on. But you can see the strength. They popped up through the 50, gap up again. I'd stay long. I just wouldn't want to see it trade back below today's low, though. Ford, just stay long on this one. Both right now on a trade as well as a long-term hold. SanDisk, need to see this open positive. If it opens positive, you've got a scoop-type pattern with a doji sandwich, probably taking you back up to the 50 at least. If it breaks through there, it's coming up to the 200 to fill this gap. Did Facebook. You can stay long on this one. It's just not an exciting mover just yet. FLML, kicker type signal. You stay long on this one. Anytime you see that kicker signal, that's not, what is it? Time you see that kicker signal, you stay long as it stays above the T line. Kicker signal is your strongest signal and very easy. As long as it stays above the T line, you stay with it. Lake has to open positive tomorrow. If it opens lower, close it out immediately. It's coming back to the 50. Baba, you stay short. Nothing here yet to show any reason to be buying this one. And BCLI, get ready to buy this one on a positive open tomorrow. If it opens positive, doing a doji sandwich breakout, it's got the potential of coming all the way back up to the recent high. And VIMC we did earlier, but this one you want to be still buying on with the anticipation that if this is wave 1, this is going into wave 3. And CLR, want to be short on this one. If it even open, there's your dumpling top. If it opens lower tomorrow, you can short this one. I would see what it does at the 50. UIHC, you stay long on this one. Use the T line as your stop. ATW, stay short on this one. A lot of these oils that popped up are now rolling over. Know that it's not realistic if it to go to the moon. Okay. At the top of or near top and see a doji. If the doji is not part of a pattern, do you place a stop just below the open or close of the doji? And if it is a pattern at the bottom of the doji, that's probably too specific. If I see a doji at the top, yeah, even if it's part of a pattern, you still have to make sure it doesn't come back down through the previous day's low. I hope I answered that, Achilles. FEYE has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. And Cyber, you should have been out of this one today, but be ready to buy this one. The reason is you still have this fry pan bottom strong price move. You still have the potential of a J-hook pattern on the next buy signal. ACAD, this one you get ready to buy because you've got your little fry pan bottom. Now you've got your J-hook with a doji right here. This is where the doji at a top. I guess this should answer your question, Achilles. if this opens positive, we know we probably have a doji sandwich, which is breaking out through this level, which is creating a J-hook pattern. If it opens lower, we know we're still caught sideways. You close out the position. If it opens lower and trades down, you close it out. And you just put your stop back up here if it breaks out through that level. And GSAT, nothing here at all. I wouldn't be long or short. Okay. Victor, all right. BRX, this one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Profit taking is over. We did Ford. I think we did Spill, didn't we? Yeah, Spill. Definitely want to see this open. You stay long as it stays above the T line. Definitely would like to see it open positive. ARCC had a kicker type signal the other day. You just stay long on this one. DDD. DDD is having a hard time getting out of its own way. I wouldn't be long or short. It's so sideways now, there's nothing to push it one way or the other. BIOC. Profit taking's over. If this comes back up through the 200 tomorrow, you want to be a buyer. The J-hook pattern would be in progress. And CVM, another one that you would probably use today's low as your stop. It needs to open higher and trade higher to stay in it. INKTA, that's another nice fry pan bottom. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. And MasterCard, stay long on this one. Bullish engulfing signal right on the T line. Tells you there's going to be more upside. Oracle, whoops. Oracle, I wouldn't be long or short on this one until it breaks through this level. It needs something strong. As you can see, it doesn't know which way to go right now. Bebop, stay long on this one. Look for the 45 degree. Whoops. XOOM, stay long on this one as long as it stays above the T line. Currently using the 3T as a support level. ACHN, still wouldn't be long or short this one. Just no direction to it. Hasn't been for the last few months. And USO, nothing here on the oil. Again, sideways. Still drifting around. It wouldn't be long or short oil right now until it figures out what it wants to do. SPK. Jennifer, I don't know what that is. Twitter, still right here on the T line. Not great trajectory, which means it has to open positive and trade positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, close it out because you've got a bearish doji sandwich in progress. We did Netflix. That was illustrating. Netflix, as long as it stays above the T line, you stay with this one. Ever since that big breakout move on their earnings. XBI, just stay long. GMCR, another one that has had kind of the T-line crunch pushing back up through the moving averages. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Just use the 200 and or the 50 as your stop. You don't want to see it close back below those levels. AEGR, still slow, steady climb. Stay with it as long as it stays above the T-line. Angie, ride the curve. That's one of the nice things about candlesticks. It doesn't matter what anybody's opinion is. You do what the chart tells you. There's been many times I've bought companies that everybody had such terrible outlooks on and made tons of money with them on the long side. The 20-year notes, looks like it's a blue ice failure heading back down to the 200-day moving average. QTS, that one you get ready to buy on positive trading coming out of this. You had a left-right combo, close above the T-line. I would definitely be a buyer of this one on strength. We did AEGN. Let's go into the 200-day moving average. Ah, Jennifer, there you go. That's usually a lap, Jennifer. That's your bearish belt hold. If this opens lower tomorrow, you start shorting it. They'll probably take that right back down to the 50. And Hawk. Another big bearish engulfing signal. You stay short on this one on any weakness, and use the T-line as your stop. What was that? APT. APT you can be buying. Just make sure your volume's good on a $2 stock. AT, not anything real exciting, but it looks like it could get back up to the 200-day moving average and then see what it does from there. And XON probably should have been closed out today. It has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, you definitely want to be out of that position. And OVAS, this one I probably would be short if it opens lower tomorrow. Your bearish doji sandwich after your left-right combo. You can see its stochastics are still weak on this one. All right, and one more. RSX. Nothing there that would get me excited one way or the other. I'd probably be trading something else. All right, everybody, just be cautious. Stay with the uptrend. Just start watching to see if exuberance doesn't come into this market. So, all right, let's call it a night there. We'll see everybody bright and early in the chat room. We'll see you then.